Welcome back everyone to J-Face Games. Today I just wanted to bring up a topic because it's almost like a plea, not a plea, a poll or a curiosity about what do we think we want or need. I like to go back through some of the old videos and ideas sometimes, and I think about, is that something that I mentioned liking it before? Is it something I still like or not? And two of the ones that came up was the escalation die and the environment and context die. Now, the escalation die, I feel like we've kind of covered that. I think that with the effort now being a die that you can ramp up, I feel like, and the fact that monsters now have action-oriented powers, that different rounds they might do something different randomly, I think that accomplishes what the escalation die from 13 Age is supposed to be trying to accomplish, which is this: things are getting tougher, things are getting crazier as the rounds go. And I think that being able to ratchet up your spark points and ratchet up your effort, I think that we've got that covered. Okay, so I feel good about potentially getting rid of this concept of escalation die. Now, environmental die and context die, that's still one that I'm curious what you guys think. Now, what this was supposed to be was the idea that you have some games that utilize flavor dice or role-playing dice, meaning, I don't know what the term is for it, but for instance, Star Wars, the Fantasy Flight games, Star Wars, the Genesis system uses this, where the dice on them have sides that have narrative dice. This is the concept of narrative dice, where you have dice that have narrative sides on them, meaning that if I get a force symbol, that means that, oh, something good's happening. If I get a negative symbol, that means something's bad happening. Meaning that I still might succeed, but the narration is now going darker, or the narration is going more positive, even if I failed, because of what these other symbols were. And to me, I extrapolated that out to say, well, maybe you could just have a dice that's a context dice and a dice that's environment dice, and these get rolled along with whatever else you're rolling. The environment dice meaning that maybe there's pluses or minuses based on... It's supposed to kind of give you another aspect of randomness, that the environment itself has an effect, right? Now, the original concept was is that you could have different types of environment dice, different types of context dice, meaning that if I have high ground, I'm now rolling the green context dice, whereas if I've got the low ground, I'm rolling the red one. You know, that was kind of the original idea. But nowadays, I'm not sure if it's necessary. I feel like with the advantage dice system and the potential and the concept of having two statuses, circumstances, whatever you want to call it, of hindered and eased, that you can represent this narratively with just that. You can easily say, you've got the low ground, so you're hindered, or against that target. Or you could say, you know what, based on what you did RP-wise, I'm going to give you advantage as a DM. Or I'm going to say that you are, this roll is eased for you, etc. So I feel like there's enough potential narrative power with the concept of advantage and the concept of hindered and eased that you maybe no longer need the environmental and the context dice. Even though I love the concept of these, of narrative dice, I love the concept of having narrative dice in the system, but I'm not sure if it's a core concept. So what we'll do is we'll probably put narrative dice in the potential modules section, and we can come back to it at a later time. But I'd love to hear what you guys think in terms of where does the narrative dice now potentially fit within the system, and do we think that it's even necessary, or do we think that effect dice are even necessary? I, at this point in time, don't, but I'd love to hear what everyone else thinks. And so at this point in time, I'm just going to tuck those away into the module system. Let me know what you think. Hit the bell, hit the subscribe button, leave some comments, because I'd love to know what you're thinking.